Hello again, hope you enjoyed that slight commercial break. Here we are, part two. What I've decided to do is I've kind of extended the foot. I'd folded it and cropped it there because I didn't want to get into that tree there. But I think what I'll do now is kind of include it in really sketchy form. I'll do something with the colour there, and there's the top of that field, and then we've got going along there kind of the skyline. I don't want this to be a super accurate depiction of I think it's an oak tree, I think. I just want it to be there, like its presence, and there's some great shadows going on there. I'll just put some cross-hatching in just to remind myself when I come to the paint which bits I intend it to be trunk and foliage. So we'll do that. Right, so here we are. Here's the next bit. Over here, and rather awkwardly, there's another building, set of buildings here, a bit more modern farm buildings, so let's put them in. I think there's a couple there, and a couple there. Again, don't want any great detail in these. What I shall do while I'm here is to use the pen to holding my breath there for some reason. I'm going to use the pen to indicate which buildings are kind of in shade, where the light's falling across there. This is not strictly cross-hatching. It is hatching, but technically cross-hatching is like an amalgamation of lines in different directions, hence the cross. But I like all my... It's the graphic designer in me, I guess. I do like all of the lines when I put shading in, or tone to suggest tone. I like everything to be in one direction. So what I'm going to do, even though I'm going to, when I get to the colour stage on this side of this barn, in fact most of the barn will be in shade. Again, I think I've said this before. If you put your shadow colour directly onto paper with no pen underneath, it can look a little flat and featureless. So what my intention is to put quite a lot of pen work on this before I apply any paint, and then the pen work will kind of have the function of adding added texture and a bit more interest. And I've done it before successfully, and one of my first loves was the old illustrated books where the illustrations were woodcuts, which were coloured by hand, usually with ink or watercolour, and I think that's what I'm going to try and achieve on this. Mainly on this barn. The majority of it is in shade, Again, this kind of style, sometimes I get to a stage where I've used the pen and got the texture on it, and all of these fences are actually in this side of the fence will be in shade. So I'll put that in with the pen, although it'd be quicker and perhaps easier to rely on paint, but I like drawing, I like the pen work. And as I was saying there, sorry I lost my train of thought, quite often I'll start a drawing like this with the intention of just doing a quick outline sketch before any colour goes on. I'll get to a stage where I've used the pen to put line work on and shade to such an extent that it can almost stand alone as just as an ink drawing. What I'm going to do is also to use the same technique on this wall. All of this will be in shade. It's difficult to kind of lose this, sorry, not lose, keep the spirit of what I'm after. Which is almost, it's like a sketch rather than a highly finished, accurate illustration. Sometimes I can get bogged down in that need for realism. But here what I'm trying to do is just, again, with adding this pen work, in these areas, it's just to give the basis for something to underlie the application of the shadow colour. And I'm kind of lapsing into what I tend to try and avoid here, which is to kind of scribble with the pen. I don't think it's a good technique. For me, it's not a good technique. I'm not really keen on the scribbling, so I'm trying to keep each one of these areas of hatching as separate strokes. Let's have a look. Where are these? Yeah, there's some there. And what I'm doing here now, rather than keep referring back to the photograph, I'm using the kind of random lines I created in the blank contour bit as a guide. And I've deliberately left this barn door with not as much pen work on, and I'm going to rely on it to give a bit more definition. See, at the moment, that this part of the barn, this face of the barn, is the same tonal value as that. So what I might do here, just to the gable end, this is true cross hatching. You won't see much of this once I put the shadow wash on, but then again, as in the technique I did in the cottage, that was my last video. Once the paint's on and dry, I shall then go back over it with stage 3. So there you go. That's part 2, the drawing as it is, and see you again in part 3. Take care again. Bye.